Who's ready to get started planting some seeds, huh? It is March. It's March 1st. I'm so excited. Of course, today in Michigan we are getting a ton of snow. There's on this side I had to come out and actually clear off the snow from my greenhouse here to get out here, but I'm excited. This is one of my favorite times of the year because we're going from what is cold and snowy and blowing like right now the wind's blowing about 25 miles an hour out there. And snowing. But 2 days ago, it was 50, 55, sun shining and bright. It's my favorite time because we're starting to make that transition, but that means we're getting ever closer to getting our seeds planted, and that's what we want to have here. So, again, hey, appreciate y'all joining me if you haven't been on the live stream before. But my name is Ryan Howe. I'm actually a business coach. I work in West Michigan here and around the country, but I come out live pretty consistently here in my greenhouse, up my garden throughout the spring into I'll put those down for a second. Throughout the year, working in my garden, come live so we can just sit here, chat, and talk. So, again, if you just find here, hop on the chat. It'd be great to have you. Again, subscribe. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you'll know when we come live when we're doing all of our work. So let me catch you up from what we had from 2 weeks ago. So 2 weeks ago, come on down here with me. Here we go. There we go. Good job, camera. We started our lettuces, and I'll bring you up here for a close shot here in a second. So we started all of our lettuces. We got some spinach and our cilantro and basil are going. I got those going a little ahead of time, mainly because the lettuce, once we can, I'm going to thin them out here in a second, but once we get them to a certain spot, I can, they're fine in the cold. They'll be fine out here. I can move these into some different pots and continue on the rest of my late spring, early summer starters, which is going to be a bunch of flowers. I've got marigolds, I've got cleomes, I've got impatiens, we've got a whole bunch of zinnias. We got tons that we've got to do. And if you haven't been on the program before, you are missing it because this entire greenhouse, we're gonna have the whole floor covered with everything, basically waiting for the last bit of frost here in Michigan, which usually hits around maybe the week before Memorial Day. So kind of where we're at. Give you guys kind of a look here. We'll bring this up here. You can see this is from last week where, let me get this here, make sure it's not too big of a mess here. So again, we got our different lettuces that are going here. So this right here is going to be our romaine. I've got the whole list of them here, but basically we got some butter lettuce. In here, where you kind of see this little mixture piece, that is going to be our, oh, what's the phrase? Oh, the mescaline mix. And then we got our spinach going as well, which is, that's not going to come up for another week or so. That one takes a little bit longer to germinate, but I wanted to get these going, get those lettuces rolling so we can do our thing. And then what we're doing is we're setting up here for today is where we're going to be at. And what I'm using are these are just Jiffy um, 72 pod little sections here. I think these are on their last leg and only got a little bit left to them, but kind of show you the setup here. So what we have is I have styrofoam underneath here, which they're sitting on top of, and then on top of that we have what is our the warming mat, which is what we'll have for our seeds. Our seeds will be in here, right? So the goal here is insulation, so all the heat comes up underneath here. They keep a pretty steady temperature around 70 degrees is what we want. Excuse me. Just my just my heater here. Like it's a balmy I think it's 22, 23 degrees out today. We're in here. It's like 55 in the greenhouse right now. Little heater doing its job, but also, hey, sunlight's doing its thing. So anyways, we're gonna be working on today is basically getting water inside of here. But after we get our pods all filled up, we'll load this up with water underneath here. Then we're gonna start our seedlings. Okay. So what we have going on is actually pretty gonna be fun. So two things. I just got our new little basket. We got this off of Amazon for grabbing our goodies in the garden. Pretty excited about that. And then here are the seeds that we're going to be looking at today. We're going to do a quick little overview. Hopefully my camera moving around isn't too much for you. We're trying out my little AI camera, this OS this OS bot that I have. But as you can see on there, we're going to be working on some of them. Pretty excited. We're going to have our eggplant Brussels sprouts, broccoli, artichoke. I got some onions, kale, that we're gonna be getting after here. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna walk you through the process while we're chatting here, just kind of talking about what we're doing, kind of the idea why we're starting these in particular, but also, like for instance, what I do, especially my peas that I got here from this. This is from all from the same spot. These are from Organo Republic. I went and picked up this pack off of Amazon. 55 different seed varieties that I want to give them a try. I'm always trying out new um, basically seed folks to see which one's going to work, which ones don't. And again, it's always exciting to be able to try these new ones. But we're gonna do the peas a little different. I have a different plan for them, so that'll be a little separate. But with that, let's go and get started here. So first things first, when we are dealing with when we're dealing with as far as starting these up here with our seeds, what we want to do is we're going to use our standard potting soil. Now, one thing you can do, and there are folks, I'm going to turn this a little way, so this way just a little bit. Again, just some standard. I went and picked up some standard potting mix. I don't really worry about this stuff too much per se. Um, you go through and you can screen it. I think next for this batch, these first starts, I won't be screening any of these because I'm not really starting a bunch. But once we get into uh once I get into the math, like the mass groupings that we're gonna have, I mean, again, when I say I'm gonna have this whole place filled, I mean literally there will be barely room for me to move in here once we start getting into the full on spring vegetable or the late spring, early summer vegetables and the flowers. There's barely room to move. I'm in here with basically with the hose, just keeping everybody hydrated until that last frost. We'll screen that. At that point, I will screen. And what you're screening for, and why you want to screen, is for these guys like this right here. Kind of hard to see, but it's just a big old chunk of, well, something, big old chunk of wood or something we have in there, and it's not that big of a deal when you're just doing like one set of pods like this. Nothing really. I don't really like to break out the whole thing. Plus, it's 20 degrees outside. I don't really want to be sifting all this in a little pretend blizzard that we're having. All right, there you go. That should be plenty. Now, what we're doing here, and this is important if you've never done this, if you're new to working on your seeds, is one of the things you're going to find with the peat moss and these mixtures that they have is they don't like to absorb water at first. They're very, I guess, hydrophobic might be the right way to say that. It does not like to absorb water. So what we do is we add the water first. We're going to mix this up by hand a little bit. Get this rolling. And what it is it's not as painful once you're inside the pods here. Like that's the idea. You don't want it to be, big pain in the butt there. Now you'll see I also got my gloves on here. You can get, packs of these gloves. They got the little plastic, little rubber on the bottom here. They're, flexy on the top. Um, you can get packs of them like 6 at Lowe's for like $10 maybe. I go through at least one pack a year just because, out here working and stuff. But it allows me to get in here with the water and just kind of do my thing. But get in here, and again, we're simply just trying to get this moistened up enough to where once we get it in there and we can do our thing, we're gonna fill this bottom pan. Again, you want to when you're looking for pods to start, you want to get the 3-part starters, which is you get a tray for holding water right here. This is for holding water. You want to have your pods, obviously, that you're working in, and these are 1-inch pods. Like I said, they usually get about a year out of them, 2 years, excuse me, 2 seasons. And then the third part is they come with the cover here. So you want to get the 3-parters. Don't go for just the 2. Trust me on this. You always want to get the 3. And what that does is it basically gives you if you have a greenhouse, you now have a greenhouse in your greenhouse, but you also don't have to heat the greenhouse. Like that's the other side because all you're going to be doing is just making sure that you've got heat running to that warming tray, and that'll keep everything in that little ecosphere doing its thing. You don't need to warm the entire greenhouse, at least not yet. I'm about a month away from when I'm gonna have to just kind of keep the greenhouse above freezing during the night. So, and it's a long few months between March, April, but there's the reason we're starting the ones we're starting because they're cold hardy and they'll just do just fine. All right, so we have got, can show you guys the difference here. What we're working on. Bring over a little handful. So what we've done is we've added. It's kind of hard to see here. Come on, light, help me out here. This, which is just your regular potting soil. Now it's nice and moist. Got a big old chunk of, well, basically mud. That's fine though. And we're gonna start packing these up here. All right. And then what this is gonna get basically be our nice little starter. Actually, before I do that, I'm gonna get some water started in here. And the reason, again, why we are adding water to our soil first, one, it's easier to work with, but the way that these pods work, once we have the soil in here and our seeds, right? They're gonna wick water up. They're gonna pull water up. However, because the peat moss and stuff is hydrophobic, it's more difficult to bring the water up at first. It takes forever for it to basically wick up. In this case, we're good to go. Like right off the bat, it's happening. We don't want to slow things down. All right. So always pre-moisten your potting soil, and you will be very happy with the results. I promise. So really what we're doing here, and this is a very simple process, we're just kind of filling them up to start. Right? That's really all the goals here. We just want to get as much in these guys as we can to get everybody started. And then we're going to go through and make sure everything's set. All right. So again, simple process here. Just adding the stuff in. I think everybody's pretty familiar with this. So I'll tell you, this is again, as I mentioned at the start here, I am a business coach. I'll tell you, it was something. I was in Phoenix for the last couple days at a conference with the rest of my uh with the other business coaches that I work with, and it was 90 degrees, sunshine, and wonderfulness. And then I come back to my first full day back to snow and wind and snow and cloudy. But I do think it does look like the sun is trying to peek out now. Like, and again, it's not like we have a storm coming through. It's because of the wind. We're getting a whole bunch of lake effect snow. I'm right on Lake Michigan, so if the wind blows a certain direction, we are going to get snow. It just happens during this time of year. Yeah. So the other thing you're doing when you're doing this is just looking for any larger pieces of wood. Like you're just going to throw them out, and you're going to find it in potting soil. They're there for filler, and it's how the potting soil people don't, they get over on us. So the folks that do like large scale, greenhouses and stuff, they have their own mix that they put together, so they're not having to deal with this. And you can do that yourself, but for most of us, again, myself included, I do a lot, but I don't know, it hasn't been worth my time and energy yet to do that. So if it's you, you do you. Don't worry about it. All right, so the next piece you're gonna do is once you have your pots all filled here, gonna come through and just we're gonna give everybody a nice little light little tap here. What this is we're just trying to get rid of any air pockets that are in there. Because when these seeds are starting, right, when the seeds are starting, they're sending down taproot and they're gonna start pushing down those original ones. If they hit an air pocket, they're having to waste a whole bunch of energy trying to find another spot to go. And what we want them to do, right? What we want them to do is just have the roots come out and just do their thing. Okay. So we're gonna help them out a little bit. Also, if you have the air pockets, the other issue is gonna be with wicking. It's gonna be much more difficult for the water to wick up. So that's an issue we want to try to stay in front of as well. But yeah. This is for all of you who are interested in what gardening is like. Welcome to what gardening is like. It's a whole bunch of the same thing. Getting in here with a little dirt, getting dirty, and kind of doing the thing. And by the way, once we get this all set, I have my lights as well, which we're going to be hanging up. I've got, kind of walk you through the process here. What I've got with my um, tabs and everything. We have lights that we're going to put over the top of these here. This is going to be my first batch here that I'm really going to be working on. I won't have, frankly, have too much more to start here over the next little bit, but I will be out here working a couple days a week. Obviously, I'm keeping an eye on them every day, but we're going to be in here kind of getting set for, that sprint from end of March, mid March through April, mid March into April and then in May working in here, but I'll be working definitely going to be starting some stuff out in the garden here. Gosh, probably going to be in April. I can work the ground in April. I feel pretty confident there. So I'll be out there. One, I've got to kind of cover everything, kill off my cover crop. I've got a whole bunch of cover crop that is under the snow, but it's going to come to life here very shortly. I'm going to have to kill that off. And then we'll be, yeah, again, doing garden prep. I've got to work on gotta check my trellises, all the stuff, really garden things that upkeep on the garden you want to have here. So, all right, so we're just gonna finish filling the rest of this off here. Give everybody another little love tap, and then gonna make sure these guys are nice and full. We got plenty of potting soil. By the way, and that's a good rule of thumb for you is when you have your potting soil, get more than you think you're gonna need, at least by a bag or two. Try to measure it out and then get those extra ones because what you're gonna find is you're gonna end up using more potting soil than you thought. Just FYI, it's one of those things. And what it is, right? It's gonna give you, like for instance, on these, they're gonna give you a cube foot. Like how much is in here? This is 1 cubic foot of potting soil, but that's as poured out. It's not wet and it hasn't been compressed, which is everything you're gonna do while you're working with it. So you're gonna end up using more than you thought. So my rule of thumb is get what you need, then add 2 extra bags. Worst case scenario, you have extra soil that you're ready for next year, or if you want to do some additional repotting, or just throw it on your garden. Ain't gonna hurt nothing, right? But I always like to keep some extras around just cause. Uh, Good stuff. Okay, there we go. Now I've got some extra here, like I said, because I've got a different little plan we're gonna do for my peas. I always try to treat the peas a little bit differently for reasons. So, but we're gonna get them started in their own little one, and then they're gonna get transplanted almost immediately into something larger. Have them go so that way I want to give them a little bit of a head start this year. Okay, so as you can see, we have got basically 72 pods ready to go here. They're on top of this on top of our mat, so they're gonna be nice and warm, getting happy here. If I can lose these gloves, and we're gonna get started on our different seeds that we have. Okay, like I said, the peas that we do have, these are again, this is from Organo Republic. It's a 55 pack that I got from off of Amazon. So what I would, go check it out. I don't have I'll drop a link in the description later. I don't have it in right now if you're watching this live, but I'm gonna go check them out. So we are gonna get started here um with again our winter type varieties that we want or our spring varieties that we're good with here. So I'm gonna grab my glasses because I'm old. I'm old and I gotta be able to read what I'm doing here. Yeah. So we're starting off with our eggplant. Gonna be delicious. And so this is a Black Beauty. Let's see here. Let me read through exactly what I have because what you do, and this is again, you're gonna see this with me every single time. If you're new to the program here watching this, we're gonna read through and we're gonna make sure that we are putting these things in alignment with what they have here. So, but I always want to learn about them too. Okay. Eggplants are typically large and oval shaped with a smooth, glossy skin. They have a mild, slightly bitter taste and a creamy texture when cooked. right? If you haven't had eggplant, that's what it's like. Again, when to start 6 to 8 weeks before the last frost date. So, that February, so that's March, April. Like I said, we're gonna be playing it kind of close here. But I'm not too worried. Once the plants are established too, that's the other part. I'm not too worried about seeing eggplant and a lot of the brassicas and lettuce that we're starting with. A little bit of frost ain't gonna hurt them. They'll be fine. They'll be established. All right. And then so we're gonna start inside exactly. Again, here's what I want to see. Want to sow the seeds 1/4 inch deep. And basically the rule of thumb is you want to plant seeds no more than twice as deep as they are in the sides. We'll take a look at the seeds here in a second so you can see this. All right. What I love about this too, especially with this group, I'm gonna hopefully you'll be able to see it. But do you see where's this right here? Right here we've got it's trying to find my AI camera's trying to find me. Okay. On the back here, I love the growing guide. They give you for each one of these seeds on this organo pack here, they give you a little QR code that you can go and basically scan it and see the growing guides. That's pretty cool. I like that. Okay, so we're gonna get these first ones just kind of started here. Also with this by the way, they're not sponsored, although Organo Republic, if you are watching, hopefully you'll hop on the chat and let me know you want to sponsor me. That'd be cool. They come with this little pack of like different garden tools. I just thought it was pretty neat to have them. And it comes with their own. We should use theirs. I won't use mine. We're going to use one that it came with. They come with a seed. What do they call this thing? This is a seed dibber. And they have these little measurements along the side here. And it has measurements along the side here. Basically with centimeters or freedom units if you're in the United States, right? Where so you got the 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, different measurements you can have. But it comes with some other stuff on here: leaf clipper, a weeding fork. Love this. It comes with a weeding fork right here, right? Let's see here. You can see it, and they call this a widger tool. I have no idea what that is, but it's pretty cool. Oh, hold on, wait. It tells you widgers used to lift out seedings and rooted cuttings with minimal damage. So I guess I'm supposed to use this. Come here. I guess this is used to go into. Oh, that makes sense. Slides right in. I got educated today. We're always learning on the channel. So again, if you haven't subscribed, please do. Make sure you hit the notification bell. You'll find out when we come live and come hang out with us. All right. So on this one, we have, and we're just going to start from left to right here, left to right. Just going to work our way down. Again, these are eggplants. Let's take a look at the seeds. It's kind of my favorite part here. Let's see what they look like. These are eggplant seeds. You tell me. Again, I'll leave this to you, but you tell me if those don't look like tomato seeds, right? You put these up next to some tomato seeds, you probably get them mixed up. All right, so these say they need to be a 1/4 inch deep, which makes sense because it's like they're little itty bitty thin things. So what we're gonna do is just gonna make in here the marking for 1/4 inch, right? We're gonna eyeball 1/4 inch. I'm not too worried about that, guys. Again, on this channel, I mean, we're good enough. Again, we play horseshoes, right? We're close. We like close enough, but we don't try to worry about that. All right, there we go. Now, what's nice about this here when you're using when you're starting your seeds and everything else here, especially early like this, when it comes to the spring ones, what's nice if they don't come up, right? Let's say out of the what do I got here? I got six. I got six that I'm gonna be starting here for eggplants. If only let's say three of them come up, right? For whatever reason, the bad germination rate, you got time. You can plant some more too, which is great. But again, it's why we have the greenhouse and the way that we do is so we can come out here and kind of get started. So we're going to sew these in, and this is the process, right? I think everybody kind of got this one. Seeds go in there, and I'm going to drop a couple in because we're going to thin them out, right? Kind of get them started in here. There you go. We've got the first set, and I've got these extra seeds here because one of the things that I like to do is also start even during the season. There's some plants that I like to restart and kind of have them in their younger variety. This isn't one of them, but lettuces are one of my favorite. Same thing with spinach. I always have a ton of those seeds around, so I can constantly be sowing and planting them. I try to do like every couple weeks, just get another almost a half tray if I can, just get them or direct sow them out there. to always have fresh greens available. So it's just something I do. Again, I might be a little weird for y'all, but that's kind of my thing. We're gonna take this, and where is my marker at? Got a marker. Here we go. Got my marker, and so what I do with this is a little bit different too. Is that I actually don't stick this in while we're doing this. What we're gonna do, at least for these trays, because I mean I can't really stick them in all the way down to be able to have it, but I do like to mark obviously to keep track of what I have with this. We'll see. You'll see down here with these that I started here. I'm not too worried about because I know exactly what they are. I mean, it's lettuces and I got some spinach, I got cilantro, coriander, and basil. Like I know what those are. But here I'm gonna have one. Let's see here. Actually, I can get a few more going up. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we'll be able to get a bunch going here. But I only want a few eggplants going. And we're gonna say eggplant. I can remember how to do this. And today is, we're gonna put the date that we started. That's real important. Make sure you always have the date that you sow your seeds on here. So we got 3. I love it. It's March. So excited. We got 3-1 on here. So March. And I just kind of lay it on top here. Like again, what I was saying, we're gonna do our different sets that we're gonna have here. But again, this is gonna have a cover on it, so I can't really have it sitting up. And also, if I mix up which one of them are, somehow, some way we'll have to find a way to make through. But I believe in us. All right, so the last thing I do is we're just going to cover them up lightly, nice and gently, making sure that they don't have any sort of big nothing on top of them, right? We want to make sure that they're nice and tucked in, but without any of these ridiculously large wood chunks that are in here. Like I said, we didn't go through the process of uh, screening this because there really wasn't a need for it. Okay, so next up on our list here is going to be oh, hey, what's up? What's up, Red? Yeah, I know. I love eggplant too. That's why I'm putting it in for you. So, next up we're going to be doing some Brussels sprouts, and we're going to do a bunch of Brussels sprouts. I'm going to do a full double row of these. Last year I actually had quite a bit of success with my Brussels sprouts here. In the way that my first year, not so much. They didn't really do what I needed them to do, but the second year, I mean, my Brussels sprouts were about yay high. They were pretty big, and we were able to get 2 cuttings off of our Brussels sprouts, which was great. Okay, so with that, again, for those that aren't familiar with them, I think we all know Brussels sprouts. You get older, everybody wants to have them anyways. So Brussels sprouts are small, compact, cabbage-like vegetables that grow in clusters along a thick stalk. They have a slightly bitter taste. That's an understatement. They're pretty bitter, but that's what we love about them. And a firm texture when cooked. These are the same thing here. Now these are brassicas, so they're in the same family as broccoli, cabbage, um, where they really do well. Kale is another brassica. They do really well in the cold. They love the cold. So these, as soon as I can work it, I'm gonna have them out in the garden. They're gonna be mature at that point, and they'll handle any sort of freeze or cold we have in stride. It won't be an issue. So that's them there. All right, so these all need to be planted. See, the planting depth is going to be okay. So this is important. So they tell me they want me to sprinkle the seeds on the surface of the soil and lightly tamp. So they want to be on here because chances are good they're not saying it on here. Oh, there it is. Perfect. The plants need light to germinate. Okay. And that's an important piece just to remember when you're working on with any of your plants is that what is their germination requirements, right? There's a temperature that they need the soil to be. In this case, germination is going to be between 50 and all the way up to 86 degrees for germination here. But there are certain plants they need light in order to germinate. Petunias are one of them for flowers that you have to keep in mind they are that way. But so yeah, then we're gonna take a look at these. I'm gonna show what the seeds look like so you can see 'em. They look like, I mean, to be honest, they look like little peppercorns. And here's the thing with your brassicas, right? They all the seeds look identical the same because They're the same plant. They're just different versions of the same plant. That's one of those weird things. So they want these things lightly on the surface, but I'm going to cheat a little bit and we're going to make a little pocket regardless because I don't want these things all over. Like I said, we're going to do 2 rows because this year we're going to grow Brussels sprouts and we're going to be freezing a bunch. So that way we can make sure that we have them throughout the year. Save save a little dollars. I'm going to have plenty of space, which I am giving up some space in the garden this year because I am doing chickens. We're gonna have chickens this year, so I'm gonna move them into a part of my garden. So I'm gonna give up, about a uh, maybe 1/8 of my garden for the chickens. But that's what you want to. It's worth it though, because they're gonna. The main thing is I'm looking for the chickens is obviously eggs are important, but it's the manure side of it too. I want to make sure that I can get some additional nitrogen without having to get fertilizer into the garden. All right, so again, these are just need to be spread across um, the surface just to sprinkle them, and we're just going to put a bunch I got a bunch of the seeds, and I've experimented with different times of year with my Brussels sprouts. So this is going to be our first bit, and what we're going to do in the garden, I'm actually going to have 2 seasons of Brussels sprouts. So I want this first batch, it's going to get up and get going, and about the time it gets to be summer, the summer heat in June is when these will be ready. And then I'm gonna make sure I got here. Be ready because these are an 80-day harvest, right? So these will be ready going into June. Take them down, and then what I'm gonna do is then in July start the next batch. Basically, cut these down, get the next batch, and these will be ready going into October. So we're gonna get 2 seasons out of them this year, which is awesome, which is what we want. So before I cover them up and lightly push them down and everything, we got this. What am I doing? Get your head together, man. Here we go. So just to tell you how close I am in the year. So this is one of last year's, March 19th. I had my broccoli on this one. So we're gonna put this side is going to be again. These are the Brussels sprouts. We're just gonna put B sprouts because that's a lot of words, a lot of letters. Excuse me. And I don't want to write that much. Oh, 3, 1. Okay. And again, these are 80 days for this. So, we're looking at, 2.5 months. Not too bad. Okay. So now I'm just gonna kind of lightly tap them into the soil. Little love taps here. And they're gonna get nice and warmed up and be all set. Live their best lives. There's the Brussels sprouts. Look at us. And we're cruising today, folks. Love it. All right, next up, broccoli. We're gonna be doing our broccoli here. Now with the broccoli again, I think we all know what broccoli is, but in case you don't know, you never know who's watching. It's a green vegetable with a thick edible stalk, clusters of green flower buds. It's known for its high nutritional value and is often steamed or stir fried as a side dish. We do both in my household. So we're gonna start the seed 6 to 8 weeks before last. So same thing, 1/4 inch deep starting mix. Keep it, and then 77, which we will until full germination. And once it's full germination and they get established, they can deal with the temperature a lot better, which is what we want to have. So, um, yeah, easy peasy. Yeah, so let's take a look at this. Now, again, as I mentioned before, this is a brassica, just like our Brussels sprouts. And that means they're in the same family. They're basically the same plant. And you'll notice this because here's our broccoli. What do you notice about those seeds? They are identical to our Brussels sprouts. Again, for a lot of folks when they first realize like these are the same, basically the exact same plant, it's kind of wild. So broccoli, we're only going to do, how many got? 1, 2, 3, 5. So let's go. Yeah, do that. So the broccoli, I want to have I'm gonna have a group of broccoli going because again, they should be 80 days, 60-day harvest. Look at that. So that's what I mean. So we can do a group of these because we'll get them up and running, get them out, and we're gonna do the exact same thing. So brassicas in Michigan, we can get them a couple plantings a year out of them, which is great. That's we love that for us. Yeah, get that out of there. There we go. So then we're gonna take our broccolis here. And this again, for those who are really interested, this is the Waltham 29. I have no idea what that means, but it's Waltham 29. All right, and how many with approximately 800 seeds? We're gonna do a whole bunch of them here, and can I get them going? So I said you always want to get multiples. These will all be thinned out later. You know, it's just part of the deal. You want to should be a high germination rate with these because this is what was kind of guaranteed for high germination. We'll see how that goes with these guys. Like I said, we're just testing them out this year. Right now, before I close those up, we want to get this written in here that these are, again, our broccoli. So you can see I had this one last year. I just kind of replaced some Brussels sprouts. And this was March 24th last year. We're getting a good head start on them this year because, like I said, I could have got them out earlier last year, but it is what it is. All right, so this is broccoli, rock. And this is 3-1. This is 60 days. All right, so let's go ahead and tamp them down, get them covered up. Now these, on the other hand, just a little bit different. Don't need aren't as worried about the sunlight hitting them. But we're gonna have today before we sign off, we're gonna set up my grow lights for these as well too. Like I said, this is what we're getting started right now. I've got my grow lights that for the next, we've got a lot of setup we've got to do to kind of get ready for the next the next starting that we're gonna have. So that's gonna be important. So once we have these up, really it's just gonna be they're gonna be doing their own thing. We're gonna be in here doing work while the seeds are busy, growing, getting big. All right. Next up, we're going to be doing artichoke. Artichoke is next on our list here. Again, this is a green globe, and this is a 120-day harvest, and they take a little while. Now, this one start 8 to 10 weeks before the last frost date. We want to start them inside. They take a little while to germinate. Um, the big piece on this is that these take a little bit of time. But we're gonna do the artichokes, and I think it's going to be I'm pretty excited for them too. So with that, if you haven't had artichoke or know what it is, they are a green globe. Artichoke is a large round vegetable with thick, fleshy leaves and a tender heart. Has a mild, nutty flavor. Is often steamed or boiled and served with butter or a dipping sauce. Um, they are a member of one. I'm trying to think. Clover. That's not the word I'm thinking of here. I just lost the word here. They're a thistle. I know that sounds weird to say, but they're a member of the thistle family. And if you've never seen artichoke seeds before, there you go. They're pretty decent size there. And it's one of the things you can tell, especially when they're larger like this. Larger the seed, you typically the longer for germination, right? It's a little more water got to get in, a lot of magic's got to happen. So these need to be 1/4 inch deep, and we will do that. 2, 3, got kale and a couple onions to do. Cool, 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 cool. We don't. So the thing with kale, what I love about kale, you really need like 2, maybe 3 kale plants. I'm gonna start 6, but you don't need much because kale gets huge. It just gets enormous. So you don't have to start a bunch of them. When it comes to the other things, you kind of have to keep it going. So again, 1/4 inch, and again, we're just using our dibber that we got from um, again, organorepublic.com. It even comes with a little branding on there. I thought that was nice. You remember where you got it from? So I'm assuming these are going to be pretty good because they've got their branding all over it. So they want us to remember, where we got these from. And with this, we're just kind of making our little dent here. Again, 1/4 inch isn't that much. And the goal here, we're going to get them in, do their thing. They can get started. This is a 120-day harvest. So that's a 4 months. So just about the time it's getting hot here, we should be getting artichokes into our bellies around here. So I'm going to use all of them. With this as a reminder, again on the back on all of them, they have these the little QR codes. That's what, again, I'm pretty impressed so far with this. I mean, we'll see how they grow, but they put a lot of thought into all their packaging and the entire kit that you get from. I think it's pretty good. But you scan this, you'll be able to take a look at their entire the growing guide. You got any questions or not sure? So again, I think that's pretty cool. Very considerate of them. So far, they're getting like top scores from me. I don't know what that would be yet. I'm not cool enough on the internet world to have in the YouTube world to have you know I don't know two thumbs up or whatever the other stuff is that people would do. Yeah, I actually have some left over there. Yeah, we're gonna drop one more in this guy. One more there. Okay. I guess we're gonna have some extra seeds. That's cool though. Okay. Drop those over here. And then last bit, we're gonna be covering back up again, just like we haven't had before. So again, if you haven't been on on with me before, welcome. My name's Ryan. I'm a business coach, but I do come live here on YouTube quite a bit when I'm doing gardening, specifically in the springtime and the summer, working in the garden, working in the greenhouse. Just kind of helping people kind of see what it is to have a little homestead and work on things. Gonna see a lot more content too from me because I've got my starting with chickens this year. I've got my apple orchard. I got my orchard. I've got like six, 7 different varieties of fruit trees to include, which I'm excited about. We got our pawpaws. Um, they're still a couple years from away from fruiting, but that's just kind of cool to have those in there. If you don't know what pawpaws are, they refer to as poor man's banana, which is weird to say because bananas are dirt cheap, but they're a fruit that's like custard and banana together that grows in North America. It's one of our fruit trees that we have here. Okay, so that was artichoke. I have no idea how these are going to do in our climate, but we will give them a shot. I think we'll be okay. 3-1. Cool. Well, we're making good time here today, folks. Got halfway through that batch. Okay, up next is going to be uh the two I okay. I like kale. It's easy to start and easy to work with, so that's gonna be the one we're gonna do after. I really hate growing this stuff. Swiss chard. It is such a pain to grow. I don't know why it's difficult here. It hurts my head why always have such a hard time with this, but I have a hard time with Swiss chard. It doesn't like to grow. Again, this isn't a brassica, but it's treated like a brassica because uh it um it germinates the same way, it likes to grow in the same conditions, and you use it kind of in the same way you do with other stuff. Swiss chard. So for those that don't know, Swiss chard is a green leafy vegetable with large, glossy, dark leaves and colorful stems. Swiss chard has a mild, slightly earthy flavor and can be cooked or eaten raw in salads. Again, it's a versatile and nutritious addition to any garden. That's the idea. Mine struggles for some reason, and I don't know why. Hurts my feelings because I really want it to do well, but it is what it is. So we got 4 left. Each one of these are going to get. What am I going to double up on? I think we're going to double up on these onions here. I think is what we're going to. I've got the last onion. We will do 2 sets of it. Each of these are just going to be 1 row. So let's take a look at next spot here, the Swiss chard. If you haven't seen the seeds before, this is how you know it's not a brassica. This has got these little weird looking spiky seed things right here. All right. They're lumpy. Brassica seeds are smooth and wonderful. All right, now the other spot here, again, we want to sow the seeds 1.5 inch deep. All right, so 1/2 inch. These are going to be going a little deeper than what we had before, and that's okay. We can adjust, folks. We've been used to 1/4 inch, but we're going to make an adjustment. We're gonna be brave, and we're going to say, okay, we can do a 1/2 inch. And again, on your dibber, right? A little dibber tool, this stupid tool name. It's got the markings right on there. So your 1/2 inch, you kind of see a little bit right there, right there. And just go through here. But again, also don't worry if you are a half and a quarter inch or whatever it is too much, it's fine, folks. Don't sweat it. We don't want to worry about those things. Worrying is like the worst thing you can do when you're gardening. You should come to garden to get away from worrying, right? All right, now we're gonna drop again seeds here. You see them? There you go. Oops, lost a couple. I guess we'll be growing Swiss chard in the greenhouse today. Um, in the actual greenhouse itself. We're gonna drop a couple in here in each into each spot. We're gonna let these guys battle it out, and whoever makes it to the top first is gonna win, and we're gonna thin them out. There we go. Hopefully, and I hope this year's the year that I get Swiss chard figured out. It's delicious, but it is really the main. Before I cover those up, let's go ahead and get this going here. We're gonna put Swiss chard, Swiss W chard. Okay, there we go. Swiss chard. Let's cover these up right here. Again, we're lightly covering these folks. Again, keep in mind we want to keep them covered so they stay moist, do their thing, but we want as soon as they're ready to germinate, we want rocket ship. We don't want them expending energy on anything other than growing. Okay. Again, just as a reminder, the reason that I'm placing the stands down here is because we're gonna have a cover over this, and they're gonna. I don't. It's just weird. It's not gonna. It's gonna be a weird thing. So I would just lay them down. It's fine. Okay. So it's these guys here. All right, there, there. Here's this. Up next, fan favorite is gonna be kale. We love kale. Again, brassica. So this is again identical to our come on, where's your word, Ryan? To our Brussels sprouts, and to our broccoli, to our cauliflower. They're all the same plant. Now, petite and hardy, this variety boasts curled nutrient-packed leaves, perfect for compact gardens, cold-resistant, rich flavor, and a small wonder for fresh meat. It's just great. I love me some kale. Got to be careful with your kale intake, though. It does have a lot of copper in it. I know, right? Who would have thought? Um, Humans aren't supposed to have that much copper, so it's one of the worries. We're gonna take a look at the seeds, and what do you notice right off the bat? The seeds look, well, they're falling all over, but they're the same as our other brassicas. They look identical. All right, so this is going to be quarter inch. Gonna be a quarter inch right here. And like I said, with kale, you do not have to worry about growing too many of them. We're gonna do 6, and that's probably. I mean, we're gonna be packed. 6 is gonna be a monster amount of kale for my garden and how much we eat. That's okay though. I'd rather have more kale than I need than not enough kale. Same thing goes with my other varietals. You can always cut them back if they're too big, there's too much. You can always do that. So you can hear, I don't know if you guys can hear that, probably can't, but in the background we got our snow plow out. I can't believe that they're having us plow today. That's how much snow we've gotten. It's ridiculous. Like I said, it was 50 some odd degrees and wonderful out. It was warm-ish, for northern Michigan in February. It was warm. No, why did that happen? That was weird. Okay. Um, Sorry, my computer wanted to turn us off, and we don't want that. We want to be around for this. So yeah, it was warm the other day, and now we're back to this. That is what it is. Okay. Doesn't look like the snow. That's probably still falling. Who knows? Don't want to worry about that. We're inside of our nice warm greenhouse, so we're happy. Should give a temperature update. I think I will. So this kale before we go on. Okay, we're gonna cover up our kale. Again, it's quarter inch down. It'll do its thing. Takes a little while to germinate, but once it gets going, we're off to the races. All right, so there's the kale. I want to see what the temperature is. Come around here, guys. This thing's gonna stay with me. I already know that. It's gonna fall over. I'm right here, buddy. There you go. Come on. Okay. Temperature is we're doing 45 degrees in here right now. It's like 20 degrees outside. So the greenhouse is doing its job. I'm here. You can stay with me. Here we go. Got me, got me. Okay, cool. We do things live here, folks. So sometimes you got to look at my face real close. It is what it is. Okay. Next in this, we're gonna two different onions we're gonna be doing this year. It's one thing that we have in this area. The onions will grow great here. The we have a lot of minerals. We're in Michigan, a lot of sulfur too in here, so they're delicious when you can get them to go. So we're gonna do got some yellow onions that we have. My wife, she loves onions. It's her favorite. She like have them in all sorts of stuff. And again, this is allium. It is what it's an allium. It's in the family, all right? It's an onion. They're very unique in the way they grow. But we're gonna have them here. So this is a large, long day onion with golden brown skin and sweet, flavorful flesh. Fruit can weigh 1 to 2 pounds. Like they're big. And store as well as a variety produces a high yield of uniform globe-shaped bulbs. All right, so we're going to start 7 to 9 weeks before the last frost date. Thing I'm going to be doing is we're going to be moving a lot of these larger ones like this. They're going to end up in they're going to get their own little pot here. And then once we get into mid-May, we're gonna move them out into the garden to finish up. Okay, so like these will really they're how do I want to say it here? What's great about when you're working with these type of things that they'll take that last transplant just fine to finish up here. And with this 115-day harvest, so this means we'll be pulling these in the end of July, starting them now, which is what we want. Okay, so with this, we want let's see here. We're gonna be starting them up here. I think, yeah, we're gonna do just one row on this, and these are just 1/4 inch. So we're gonna start a couple here, and then once we get to, this is another variety here that we're going to. Of course she can. She can name one of my chickens, whatever she'd like to call them. As long as it's not as long. Yes, Arya can absolutely name one of the chickens. Unless nothing like nothing that's going to be bad names, obviously, because we're going to be talking about on the stream. But with this, with the onions, we're going to be starting them here, and then I'm also going to have once in the same patch where we're doing the onions, I'm going to be sowing some others, so we'll get a harvest in the middle of summer, and then we'll have something towards the end of the year that we can have as well. So multiple onions doing their thing. All right, let's take a look. If you've never seen onion seeds before, I'm sure you have, because who hasn't picked up a um, everything bagel seasoning from Trader Joe's, right? There's your onion seeds right there. I know KK has picked up everything bagel seasoning before. Take that to the bank. I think we even have some up in the cabinet, I believe. Believe we do. There we go. Cool. Here's them. So KK, what does Aria want to name a chicken? Does she have a name picked out yet? These are the yellow onions. Yellow. It was all yellow. Yellow onion. 3 1 1 1 5. Yeah. We're just gonna pop these off here. Honey. Okay, so like honey mustard chicken, that the honey mustard sauce that we'll use when we're eating the chicken after a couple of years. So honey mustard, is that the name she wants to call it? That's cool. So, all right, our last one that we got here is I know what a great grandpa, but aren't I a great grandpa? Like, yeah, if one's name it honey, like the sauce we're gonna do when we eat the chicken. Um, this one here is called short day onion. It's a red. We got this red burgundy onion that we're gonna have. The redhead, she does like the red onions, or as they call them in the middle and in the Midwest, they call them purple onions. Such a weird. Perfect, honey mustard, great. So we'll save. So what we'll do is for honey the chicken, what we'll do, KK, is we'll wait until you guys are here. She can then pet honey real quick. We'll go ahead and butcher honey, and then we can eat honey with some honey mustard. Great plan. Love it. All right, so with this thing, it's a short day bulbing onion with a flattened round bulb around 3 to 4 inches, right? Fully matured. The skin is smooth, glossy, purplish red. The mild sweet flesh is white with light red rings. Yeah, again, just it's your typical like red onion you got here. And we're gonna do 2 rows of this one because this is a start 8 to 10 weeks. This one takes a little longer. And let me think here. Yeah, 1/4 inch. So let's get this started. Right. Yeah, KK. I was in 90-degree weather like a day and a half ago. And then I come back to 20 degrees and like 2 inches of snow. Yeah. I mean, again, I do love our little homestead here in our little village, but man, I was not really digging, I'm not really digging the whole, return to winter thing. I got spoiled for a little bit. It is what it is. All right. So let's get these onions, take a look. And this is the thing with, again, here's your onion seeds, right? Same that we've always seen right there. But yeah, this is a good little setup we got here. I'm really digging this Organo Republic, the seeds that they have. They all look really good. Like they all have good weight to them. There's none like sometimes you get kind of like off looking seeds when you're buying from you're picking up your seeds. All of these look really good. Oh, I'm sure it's really nice. You're in Southern California. I'm sure your weather's nice, KK. I'm sure it's fantastic. Thank you for rubbing it in. All right. And then we got, again, red onions. Red onions. 3, 1. Okay. Just going to cover these guys up. We got a little bit of work we still got to do before I'm going to get these all taken care of before we do the peas. Because the peas is, again, for them, as soon as I can get them, like I can work them. Yeah, yeah. Right back at you, kid. As soon as we can work the peas, like work the ground, the peas are going to go into the garden. Like that's happening. Okay. So as you can see, folks, we got everything kind of labeled here. Over here so you can see the camera comes with me. So we got everything labeled up nicely here. Um, Again, we got styrofoam. We've got the warming pad underneath. We've already pre-charged. You can see the water is up halfway here on the pods themselves, and everything was pre-moistened as far as the soil. So these are gonna sit right here and live their best life, just like come on down here. There we go. Come on, camera. There you go. Just like these here are doing their thing, and they've just gotten started. And you can see we've got them just kind of living their best life here. I've got basil are starting to come up, which I'm pretty excited about. The cilantro is going to take cilantro and spinach always take a little bit longer, but I do see some of the spinach coming up, so that's a good thing. And again, so right here we've got our grow lights are sitting on top of here to be able to help them because they need the light to germinate, they need the light to grow. And we're still up here in the northern tier, so we have a ton of light. So what we're gonna do up here is the same thing. I've got 2 extra lights. We're gonna pop them on top of here, and we're gonna be off to the races. So let's do that. Let's do that, folks. So what I did, and in this greenhouse here, it's kind of hard to tell, but you kind of see it over here. There are the ribs that you have for connectors. These are aluminum that they have, and they all have these 1/4 inch slots that go in here. Let's see if I can do this one right. Nope, can't get see here. This right here. They've got these. These are these little clips that you can buy that you can slip right in the groove, and they can let you basically hang stuff from here, which is kind of nice. So if you want to get those, you can get these off. If you have a greenhouse, you can get them off of Amazon. Where I got mine, and then so what we're gonna do is we're gonna use those basically to hang these down here. The lights right here. Then I got another set we're going to hang right here. And what they do is they run in parallel. The lights down here. We're going to run the electricity up here. You'll see it as we're going along here. But basically, we're just going to be connecting all of them together. That's the deal. And while we're doing this, it's a real simple setup here. And again, the stuff that I do here, you guys have been on the channel for a minute, you'll know I don't like to do anything overly I think permanent's kind of the way I like to say it here. Because no matter what, just the way I am, uh, once I think I have something set up correctly, I end up wanting to move it again. It's not in the right spot or whatever. So we want to make sure that's a thing. All right, so we tie this off here. This is pretty simple. We're just gonna tie off on this end. I've got the string going all. Something just fell. Oh well. I got the string running through both of the connectors. I guess I should show you that. So on the top of these, it probably would be nice if you guys actually knew what I was working on here. Sorry about that. Ah, still getting back into my live streaming. Am I missing one? Oh no, missing one. Well, we'll have to figure that out later. Okay, so what we have on top of these, all but apparently one now. Okay, so we got the lights here. Got these little LED lights here. Nice and simple. Just got this off of Amazon again. We have this thing where you can connect these little clips to it, right? And see how it's got that little spot in there? We're gonna run the string right through it. It just pops in, just like that. And so that's what I've got set up over here. So we're just running the string through it right now. What I'm gonna do, grab this. Got my handy dandy little evil looking cutter here that we just basically just use for the smaller items I got to trim, but it works great as a knife right now. We're going to use this to adjust the height. See? Easy peasy, folks. We try not to overthink things here. So it's basically just one string here that we can set up. And these are adjustable. So if I need to move this further this direction, right, because we want it to hang a bit more over, we just move it down and adjust it. All right. I got that easy stuff here, folks. Like I said, we don't worry about things here. That is really, man, that wind is kicking outside. My goodness. I don't know, you guys probably can't hear that, but it is howling outside right now. But everything's good here in the greenhouse. Right. So we're just gonna tie this off. There we go. There's one. Ta-da! There we got one hung. All right, so on to our next one. I know, I know. Oh, please, please save your applause. Save your applause. If you do like what you're seeing here, and if again working on the greenhouse, gardening's your thing, please subscribe. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you know when we're live out here doing our thing. So this next spot, I'm gonna move this up a little bit. You can just adjust it. There you go. Is gonna be for the next one we have. We're going to go this way. This next one's gonna be a bit of a pain. I think. Let me think how I want to do this here. I am missing one little clip. Fall down. No, I don't see it, so I'm short one. That stinks. Let me think. Oh, here, actually, they gave me a way out here. They knew I was going to need this. Good job, folks that made this thing. They knew I was going to lose one of the clips, so they just gave me. They just gave me a little zip tie. That was nice of them. We'll trim that later. Okay, so we are working our way through here. And hopefully everybody's enjoying the stream, watching this old grandpa work his magic in his greenhouse. We got to get this up and running. Then we're gonna work on our peas. We still got our peas. We need to get started. Like I said, peas. I start. Gosh, I think last year I started sweet peas 6 times. I started basically every other week for a while. Oh no, my dibber fell. We'll get that in a second. All right. So yeah, I'm always starting peas. And really the peas, they're we don't really save them or anything. It's not like we can them. Um, but they're good snacks. I like to eat them when I'm in the garden. So I like to constantly have fresh peas around. And we'll get enough for a couple meals. But really I just grow the peas for garden snacking. That's really all it is. All right. Let's get this next one up and rolling. Again, it's as simple as this, folks. We try not to overthink things here. There we go. I'm just going to pop you right there. There we go. Lights are set. A lot of concentration going on here. You guys are amazed at my ability right now. I know. I know. I get it. Like I said, all applause is accepted. We love hearts and thanks and hearts and good stuff in the chat too. So cool. All right. So there's that guy. Cool. All right. So there you go. So now it's as simple as connecting these up, which is, oops, in theory. So there's the first one. Which we are going to zip tie that up so it's a little stronger, not as crazy. And then we just got to run our next thing from here to here. There, here. There you go. We got lights for days now. Now it's just a matter of leveling them off a little bit, which we can do just fine here. Guys down there. Okay. Perfect. Okay. There we go. So we got the lights are now over these guys. Again, nothing too crazy. Just got them kind of set up there. And then down here, they're doing their thing. All right. So we got our lights on top of these guys here. They're getting plenty of light. And then up here, we got the same thing. Okay. We'll take that. All right. So for our next piece that we've got is going to be some of our peas. Um, Now I got to think about how I want. Here we go. This is the guy I was looking for right here. So this is the one I was looking for. This piece right here. We are going to load this up with peas, and this has got its cover. Where do I have the other guy? I'm trying to think how I want to do this because I had a different setup last year. Am I missing him? Where's he at? Like I said, we do this in real time here, folks. You get to watch me kind of wander around a little bit while I'm looking at stuff. Maybe what I'll, yeah, no, we'll do it there. It's not going to be everything. All right. That one went to. That's interesting to me. We'll have to find that at a later date. Cool. All right. So in this case, we're not going to do all of the pods here. We are going to do a group of them though, which is okay. Maybe I'll do this one instead. Where are you? You go down here. Made a decision. We're gonna go a different route here. Same thing though. Okay. So we're back to this. So this is our 4x8. So this says 32. We got in here. And we're just gonna load up basically the remainder of our potting soil here. Because I don't want to start all of these peas at the same time. Right? We're just gonna do a few. I do not, and I don't plan on having a ton of peas going. And the peas, to get started, they're going to take a little bit to get rolling. All right, so I can come a little closer to you guys here. I'm working on these. And again, what you do is once you get your your first bit of moistened potting soil in, you want to give it a little push down here. You can see kind of the difference here. How many the air pockets that are in here. That's what we really want to be taking care of. And the thing with peas is that yeah, the germination, like they definitely want the soil to be warm, but they don't need the soil to be that warm. So anything you can do to help it out, like with the warming, is going to be great for them. They're going to love the little warming pads. But peas are they don't mind the cold. That's why I want to get them started, and I'm going to be growing them in here because we're going to be maintaining starting mid-March to the end of March. We're going to be maintaining the temperature in here above freezing, and they're going to be getting plenty of light. So we can be growing they're going to end up in, like I said, the peas are going to end up in own um their own planter there, going to town, which is great. Okay, so with our peas, let's hop over here. Just kind of take over this space here. Let's see for the peas. What do they need? So for our peas, get my old man glasses back on here. Let's see what's going on. For our peas, these are Oregon Sugar Pod #2, if that means anything to anyone. That's what it is. Again, a cool season vegetable that produces sweet, tender peas. Um, in pods, the pods are typically harvested when they are young, and the peas inside are still small and tender. So, like these are really meant to be like as soon as they're pea size, go ahead and get them out there. You want to start 4 to 6 weeks before the last frost date. Sow seeds, uh, basically 1 inch deep and 3 inches apart in the start. So that's what I mean. We're gonna have them all in here. So these can go in the ground in April. Is really what they're saying. So it's March. We're gonna be mid-April. They're gonna be in their own planters, doing their own thing, living their best life. Okay, and then in April we're gonna start the next batch, which will then go out into out in the garden, and then every couple weeks we're just gonna be starting them until it gets to be in the summertime. They don't really like the heat all that much. So, but yeah, I'm always trying to plant them wherever I can. All right, so come over here. But again, these need to be 1 inch deep, so they go down pretty far. You know, that's the thing with peas. You've got to get them down there. Take that chunk out of there. We're gonna go ahead and get this first group of them going, which is going to be the first 10. Not doing all of them right now. This is going to be our first 10. Each one of these is going to get one pea. We're going to be able to test how well Mr. or Mrs. I think it's Mr. if I remember the picture correct. Mr. Organo Republic, his germination rate is. We get all 10 of these to go. That's going to be pretty cool. That'd be pretty cool. Okay, so we get them going here, cover them up, 1 inch down, put a little bit more soil on top of them and really just kind of make sure they are good and covered. And the reason, again, for peas, a little bit different than the other ones, they want their roots are, they like to make sure those are protected, i.e., because that way they are a cold weather one. Now the roots are going to be further down. Okay, so all right, that's that. They need to be covered. Where did I put my cover at? Here we go. Okay, move this over here for a second. And then we are going to set up this guy. These can go now. Last of our, there's some styrofoam for underneath. Do I have any extra styrofoam over here? I do. I have extra styrofoam right here. What's extra, but I have styrofoam right here. And we're going to place this right here. We're going to have a warming mat for them, which is back there. All right, so I got some moving around I got to do to get these set up. But what we're going to end up with, these guys just hanging out right here. They're not going to get a light over them. Peas aren't the same. They don't need the lights to manage them. They're going to get enough light coming off of here. They're going to germinate, do their thing, and they'll be off to the races. So yeah, other than that, I've got a little maneuvering. I got to move my laptop, so we're gonna leave it here for today, folks. So again, I appreciate everybody came by and hung out while we were working on things here. Again, hopefully I earned your subscription today. I come live here pretty consistently throughout the spring into the summer in the garden, in the greenhouse here. So take care, and I will see you next time.